Thank you. Yes, we'll start. So now we will see the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam. First canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Summary of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we also want to hear what life lessons we have from the devotees in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll go ahead and start now. So, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, after Lord Krishna spoke everything in Bhagavad Gita, then he concluded saying, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papibhyo mokshaisami masuchaha. Right? So in the very end, Bhagavan was saying that. Right? Lord Krishna was saying that. And what was he saying to Arjuna? Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. So how to take the sharanam? How to do the bhakti process? So he's saying, just take up this bhakti process. And to who is he speaking? To the devotee, Arjuna. So these three elements, Bhagavan, Bhakti, and Bhakta. Right? So I don't really want to call as elements. So Bhagavatam is about Bhagavan and Bhakta, and the bhakti that is performed by Bhakta to Bhagavan. The whole Bhagavatam is about these three subject matters, about Bhagavan, about Bhakti, and about Bhakta. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanamutaya manvanta ishanukada nirodho muktirashraya. The 10 subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam. So after sarga and visarga, explaining the creation, from sthanam to all the way until nirodho muktirashraya is nothing but elaborative description about three subject matters, Bhagavan, Bhakti, and Bhakta. On that same note, we will see what is there in the first canto. In the first canto, we will see the first three slokas, the prelude, are about who is Bhagavan, what are the qualifications for somebody to be called as Supreme Personality of Godhead. That we will hear in the first sloka. Second one, what is Bhakti? Yeah, that we will hear in the second sloka. Third one, what does a Bhakta do? That we will hear in the third sloka. After that, now that these three subject matters are introduced, the first, second, and third chapter, especially the second chapter, speaks in detail about Bhakti. Beautiful. It's only a start in Srimad Bhagavatam. So about that Bhakti, we want to hear from Suta Goswami. What is he saying about Bhakti? We want to hear from Sukadeva Goswami. We want to hear from Narada Muni. So that we will see, okay, about Bhakti in first, second, and third chapters. In the fourth and fifth chapter, during the Narada Vyasa Samvada, Narada Muni, Sri Narada Muni gives more details about the glories of Bhakti. That also we will hear. Yeah. So in that way, the process of Bhakti has been very nicely described in the first canto, especially in these chapters. We will go over that. After that, after Narada Muni departs after instructing Vyasadeva, then, as we have heard, all the stutis start, right? So that is about bhaktas. How did all these great devotees practice bhakti in their life? That's the subject matter of the rest of the cantos in the rest of the chapters in the first canto, starting from after when Ashwadama releases the Brahmastra, Arjuna asks Krishna, right? Krishna Krishna Mahabaho, starting from there until Parikshit Maharaj sits in the bank of river Ganges and invites Sukadeva Goswami. All of them are, all the devotees practicing bhakti. How did they practice bhakti in their life? And what can we learn from them? This will be our subject matter of discussion today. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. Okay, you must be able to see it now. Yes, please. So that's Bhagavata Pravahamu. And the first canto summary coming to us to teach us the life lessons from all these great devotees. So we want to pay attention. If you have pen and pencil, pen and paper, you may just jot down one word each for each life lesson if you would like to. Yeah. So as we have discussed, these are all the 19 chapters of first canto we have discussed in detail. And this is just a glance, first canto at a glance. The 6 questions of Naimisharanya sages, the answers, and Narada Vyasa Samvada. Yeah, maybe I will, I will do the recap so you can remember. 6 questions, right? The first chapter starts with 6 questions of Naimisharanya sages, and then the answers to these 6 questions is given in, they are given in second and third chapter. Okay, and the second topic in first canto is Sri Narada Vyasa Samvada. Yeah, so here, this is the first one. We have discussed the first, second, and third chapters, and this is Narada Vyasa Samvada. How Srimad Bhagavatam came, Avirbhavam made its appearance. See, in the 6 questions and answers, we will go over them again. The last answer is that Srimad Bhagavatam is the shelter for Dharma in Kali Yuga. That's how the 4th canto is starting with Srimad Bhagavatam Avirbhavam. How did Srimad Bhagavatam make its appearance? That's how the second topic here in the first canto is Narada Vyasa Samvada. How did Bhagavatam make its appearance? Who wrote it? And who heard it? That's Parikshit Maharaj, right? Yeah. So that's Narada Vyasa Samvada. And then after that, all the stutis come, right? And then after that would be about Parikshit Maharaj. Like this. After Narada Vyasa Samvada, look at this one here. All the stutis starting from Arjuna till Dwarakavasa stutis. And then Parikshit Maharaj birth, events led to Parikshit Maharaj coronation. And then curse, Parikshit Maharaj curse, and then Sukadev Goswami arrival to Hastinapura. So that's at a glance. Now, let's walk through and then simultaneously take life lessons from each of these. So first canto, the first sloka, as we discussed, gives us the definition of absolute truth, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Can anyone be called as absolute truth? Any person be called as Supreme Personality of Godhead? He should have this 7 characteristics. And is absolute truth just an impersonal? Not really. It's a Supreme Personality. He is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the definition given in the first sloka. Janmadhyasya yato anvayaditarataschaddesho abhijnaswarat tene brahma hridayadi kavaye muhyanti yasuraya tejo vari mridam yadha vinimayo yatra trisargomrasha dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. Absolute truth is cause of janmadhyasya, creation, maintenance, and sustenance. He is the cause of these 3 things. Anvayaditarataschaddesho abhijna, and he is cognizant of these 3 things, either directly or indirectly. That's the second one. Third one is his independent. Swarat. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye. He is the enlightener of Brahma. Yeah. Muhyanti Yasuraya, Tejovari Mridam Yadhavinimayo, Yatra Trisargo Amrisha. He is also bewilderer, not only enlightener of Brahma, but bewilderer of the demigods. Then, sixth one, Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kohakam. Dhamna. He resides in a transcendental abode. Dhamna Svena. And Sada Nirasta Kohakam. Sada, it is eternal, Nirasta Kohakam, devoid of any darkness. So he is the one who is the cause of, the one who is a primeval cause and has all these 7 characteristics is Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's Vasudeva. And who, that's Bhagavan. And what is Bhakti? Srimad Bhagavatam specifically gives Bhakti, not just mixed with Dharma Projita Kaitavoatra, not mixed with Dharmartha Kama Moksha. Bhakti mixed with all these 4 things is mixed Bhakti, Mishra Bhakti. But Srimad Bhagavatam is giving Paramo. That's transcendental. Nirmatsaranam Satam. Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam. So that Bhakti can be understood by those saintly people who do not have Matsara, envy. Okay. And Bhagavatam is also speaking about Vastavam is the absolute truth. Atra Vastu Shivadam. That absolute truth causes Shivadam, auspiciousness. And Tapatrayon Moolanam. It uproots 3 miseries. Adibhautika, Adhyatmika, and Addaivika. And Srimad Bhagavate Mahamanikrate Kim Vaparairishvara. If we have this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is given by Mahamuni Vyasadeva at his mature stage after realization, after receiving instruction from his Sri Guru Narada Muni, that is Vyasadeva at his best. So if we have this scripture, Kim Vaparairi, what else do we need other than this? And on top of everything, Srimad Bhagavatam, this bhakti, the Shuddha Bhakti, when practiced, Ishvara Sadhyo Hrudya Varudyate Atra Kritibi Sushrushu Bistakshana. The Lord in the heart is very quickly established when Srimad Bhagavatam is heard and Shuddha Bhakti is practiced. So these are the qualities of Shuddha Bhakti also. That Bhakti which is beyond Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. What is that Bhakti? Shuddha Bhakti. Panchama Purushartha. So that is also described. That is described very much in Srimad Bhagavatam and in Srimad Bhagavatam only. In the rest of the scriptures, there is more description of Mishra Bhakti, not Shuddha Bhakti. Okay, this is awesome. Bhagavan, we know who Bhagavan is. We know what Bhakti is. Okay. And Srimad Bhagavatam, when it is giving this rasa, Bhakti rasa, Shuddha Bhakti rasa, Muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha, one who is drinking this Shuddha Bhakti rasa, he is a Bhakta. He is a Shuddha Bhakta. Though we are in Sadhana Bhakta, since we are given this path of Shuddha Bhakti, we will be taken to that Shuddha Bhakti also. But one who drinks that Shuddha Bhakti rasa is Bhakta. Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. So this is about Bhagavan, Shuddha Bhakti and Bhakta. After giving these 3 subject matters which are described very in detail throughout Bhagavatam, now sages of Naimisharanya welcome. They welcome Suta Goswami, gives him a seat. And then Shaunak Rishi says, there are so many qualities for a speaker that are essential to speak Krishna Katha, Bhagavata Katha. But amongst them, all of them, Saumyasya and Snigdasya are very important. Saumyasya is simplicity. simple thinking, not complicated with mental speculation. When the truth is said, received as such, simplicity. When Nitai and Gaura are here, they came here to distribute mercy. They came here and we get it. We are getting it. That is simple. So, simplicity and Snigdasya. Snigdasya is very malleable to the will of Sri Guru and Krishna. When they're so malleable, flexible, receptive, and subordinate, submissive to the will of Guru and Krishna, they become like a begging bowl. That's why they have all these realizations given by Guru Parampara. So these two qualities, O Suta Goswami, since you have these qualities, you are a perfect speaker of Bhagavatam. Would you please go ahead and answer our questions? So that's how Shaunaka Rishi, representing all the Naimisharanya sages, asks the questions. What questions does he ask? The 6 questions, right? Before asking 6 questions, he says, Prayena alpayusha sabya kalavasmin yuge janaha mandas mandaha matayo mandabhagyahi upadrataha. This is for us to remember. We belong to that category. We are the Kali Yuga Jivas. All the disqualifications are mentioned there. Very little, short-lived and disturbed, always disturbed, and lazy and unlucky. So for us, this is the oasis, Srimad Bhagavatam Bhakti. Okay. So keeping these Kali Yuga people in mind, please answer these questions. That's what Shaunaka Rishi asks. The questions are, first one, what is the ultimate good for the humanity? Second one is, what is the essence of Vedic literature? Third one, why did Lord Krishna appear as Devaki Nandana? Fourth one, what are Purusha Avataras? Fifth one, what are Leela Avataras? And sixth one is, where does Dharma take its shelter in Kali Yuga? These are the 6 questions. After those questions are asked in first chapter, then in the second chapter, Srila Suta Goswami offers his pranam mantra to his Guru. Okay. Now we are going to hear the answers to these questions. And for us here, especially for all those who are practicing devotion, the key point, Srila Suta Goswami, by his pranam mantras, he's indicating the Guru Tattva here. Yam pravarajantam anupetam apeta katyam vaipayano viraha kataraju hava putreti tanmayataya taravobhinidus tam sarvabhuta hridayam munimanatosmi tam sarvabhuta hridayam. Oh, Sukadeva Goswami, you are situated in everybody, in everyone's heart. That is what Suta Goswami is reciting. In other words, the Guru Tattva is from Paramatma, and Paramatma is situated in everybody's heart. So Guru Tattva is eternal, and the guidance and instruction that we get Guru Tattva is actually from Paramatma Bhagavat Tattva. So that part of Bhagavat Tattva that speaks to us, that communicates to us, that guides us and takes to Bhagavan is Guru Tattva. Okay, our life lesson. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura says, we want to remember the instruction of Sri Guru by remembering the instruction of Sri Guru and by being in service, we are actually being with Sri Guru. So we want to be with our Sri Guru throughout the year, every month, all the months, all the days, all the hours, and every moment. He's very specific about that, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura. So that's about Guru Tattva. Yeah. So, and now Suta Goswami gives the answers to 6 questions. The answers for the first and second question, as you know, essence of all scriptures and welfare of the humanity is bhakti. Okay. Regarding this bhakti, the details are given. And Why did Lord Krishna come here? To rescue the saintly souls, to take them back to Godhead. That's the third question and the answer. Fourth one is, what are Purushavatas? 3. One is Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of all material creation. And then Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, Paramatma of one material universe. Shirodaka Sai Vishnu, Paramatma of each atom. Those are Purushavatas. Leela Avataras, so many. And source of all the Leela Avataras, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Ete Chakala Pumsa. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And then last answer for the last one is, where did Dharma take its shelter? In Kali Yuga, after disappearance of Lord Krishna, that is to Srimad Bhagavata. These are the questions, these are the answers to the questions. Our focus more here is about bhakti for the first answer, for the first and second questions. So, what is described in Srimad Bhagavatam? What did Suta Goswami say about bhakti? What is bhakti? Savai pumsan paro dharma yato bhakti radokshaji ahaitukiya pratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. The definition of bhakti is given. Okay. And then next, what are the results of practicing bhakti? Jnanam, Vairagyam and Jnanam. They come automatically. Okay. And next question. Okay, this is so good. But what about the Varnashrama Dharma? Whatever are occupational duties. Those occupational duties should be conducive to practice of bhakti. And the occupational duties should be performed samsiddhir haritoshanam, for the toshanam, pleasure of Hari. Okay. And next one is, what happens when somebody practices bhakti? Yes, jnanam and vairagyam, they come as byproducts, but bhaktir utpadyate pulsa shoka moha bhaya paha. When somebody practices bhakti, shoka, miseries, moha, illusion, bhaya, fear, are all gone. That is only basic shoka, moha, bhaya, paha. Okay. But those are the results of practice of bhakti. We have seen the definition of bhakti, byproducts of bhakti, and how does varnashrama fit in bhakti? It has to be conducive to the practice of bhakti, and the result of practicing bhakti, shoka, moha, bhaya, paha. And next, how to do bhakti? By hearing Krishna Katha, taking Krishna Nama, and doing Krishna Seva. Who teaches us? Mahat Seva, the pure devotees. The pure devotees teach us how to do bhakti. That's how bhakti starts, by hearing. But when there is no taste for hearing, what should one do? They have to serve the pure devotees. Yeah. Shan Mahat Sevaya. When they do the Mahat Seva, then Sushrusho Shraddha Dhanasya, Vasudeva Kadaruchi will come. Okay, they have done Mahat Seva. Now this brings us to the stages of bhakti. See, they have done Mahat Seva and they are getting ruchi to hear Krishna Katha. And now they are hearing how to practice bhakti, how to do bhakti. So they are hearing Krishna Katha and they are taking Krishna Nama and they are doing Krishna Seva. So this is all together is Bhajaneshu Spruha. When they take shelter of a pure devotee and starts performing bhakti in his guidance, then that is Bhajaneshu Spruha. So bhajan has started, bhakti has started. Then what happens? Anardapagamam. All the anarthas start to disappear. That is the stage of anartha nivritti. And then after that, slowly we get to the steadiness in bhakti. And then ruchi in bhakti. After that, asakti, and all the way bhava to prema, and finally to vastu siddhi, harir madhuryanubhava. So all the stages of bhakti are also described in the second chapter. And the very same stages that are described in second chapter, they're actually lived by Narada Muni. So Narada Muni, when he says about his story, he has passed through all these stages. So here the theory is given. Narada Muni has shown it in practice in his life. Okay. So in that way, the stages of bhakti are also explained in the second chapter. Okay. After explaining about the stages of bhakti, that's about bhakti, and we have discussed about the other answers also for the rest of the 4 questions. And the last question was, where did Dharma take his shelter after the disappearance of Lord Krishna? To that, the answer is Puranarko Dunoditaha. To Dharma took shelter of Srimad Bhagavata. And this is why we are coming to Narada Vyasa Samvada now, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th chapter. So, in the Narada Vyasa Samvada, we have divided that, right? First, Vyasadeva, he was in contemplation. A lesson for us. Vyasadeva was very learned, very selfless. He has compiled the Vedas for the welfare of all the living entities, all the people in Kali Yuga. But still, he was morose. Okay? And so just the social welfare activities and just being ethical and moral and doing selfless service, just these things cannot give us deeper satisfaction. There is still something vacant within. And we will see why very soon. And here, Vyasadeva was just thinking, why am I feeling like this? I have done everything. I was selfless too. And I have did my tapasya, and I have compiled Vedas, but why am I feeling like that? Then Vyasadeva thinks, is it because I haven't glorified those topics that are very dear to Bhagavan and Bhaktas? He just starts to think like that. And that's when Narada Muni comes. Narada Muni comes and then confirms his doubt. He says, yes, you are right. That was the mistake. You have overly glorified Dharmartha Kama Moksha and did not give proper place, did not glorify enough about Bhakti and Bhagavan. So please abundantly glorify the glories of Bhagavan. And there, Narada Muni, he glorifies Bhakti, right? He glorifies Bhakti there. He says how Tadvayasam Tirtha Mushanti Manasa, how the regular topics are like a place for crows, a garbage for crows. But the spiritual topics are like Viplava, Tadva Visargo Janatagha Viplava. The spiritual topics, they cause Krishna Katha causes spiritual revolution. So that is also, a part of bhakti that we were discussing about. So that spiritual revolution is caused only by bhakti, by Krishna Katha. And even if jnana is there, na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam, without achyuta bhava, even the jnana is also doesn't look too good. And then after that, Narada Muni says, if somebody takes a bhakti, and even if they can't follow through for a long period of time, just does a little bit, even then there is no worry, no loss at all, because smaran mukundagri upaguhanam punair, they cannot forget the taste of bhakti that they have practiced. So they start thinking of it again and again. In this life or next life, they will come back to bhakti. Bhakti is so potent. Yeah. And he also says, bhakti takes precedence over occupational duties. What's the point of being so perfect in somebody's profession if they're not pursuing spirituality, devotion? Even if somebody is not so perfect in their profession, but if they are practicing bhakti, then that is better. That's what Narada Muni says. Okay? So those are about bhakti that Narada Muni says to Vyasadeva. And here our life lessons here in this so far are, one is if how Srila Vyasadeva's doubt was cleared and confirmed by his guru Narada Muni. Yeah, so somebody who is above us and guides us well, Sri Guru, they will be able to help us walk forward, clear our doubts, and help us progress in bhakti. Yeah, and also Vyasadeva was morose, but only with the glorification of the Lord. Glorification in the thoughts, glorification in the words, and glorification in the deeds. Only then there is deeper satisfaction, not just by selfless. Yeah, so that's one thing. And all the material topics, they are only like garbage. So how much time are we giving for those material topics? That's something to think. And the potency of Krishna Katha is it causes spiritual revolution. Right? So those are the topics. After describing about bhakti, Sri Narada Muni says, not only this theory part, I'll tell you about my life. When I was small, Bhakti Vedantas came and I served them. My mother served and I also served them. That's how my bhakti started. So as we were just discussing, here is the practice. There was the theory, Mahat Seva. So Narada Muni first did Mahat Seva. He did the Seva to the Bhakti Vedantas. And that's how he got the remnants of their prasad. And he get to hear from them directly. So Shravanam, Mahat Seva, and then Shravanam from them, and then taking their Uchishta, their remnants. With this, Narada Muni says, I have developed Ruchi for what they were doing. In a short period of time, Narada Muni has developed Ruchi. And he also says, I followed their instructions strictly, and I had great mamata for them. So these 2 points also Narada Muni states there. And then when Vyasadeva asks him about little more details of what happened to Narada Muni after Bhaktivedantas left, then Narada Muni tells them how after, when how his mother died, and immediately he thought it was Krishna's arrangement. See, now we are starting to see how the pure devotees are practicing bhakti. So far, we have discussed about bhakti, right? Who is Bhagavan? In the first sloka definition, we have heard. And until now, we have discussed about what is bhakti and what are the byproducts of bhakti, what are the results of bhakti, what are the different steps of bhakti, all that. And now we are hearing about bhaktas, starting with Narada Muni. So Narada Muni, as we are just discussing, he passed through all these stages, starting from Mahat Seva, right? He came to Ruchi. And by that time, Bhaktivedantas left their home, and then his mother died of a snake bite. Immediately, Narada Muni thought, this is Krishna's arrangement. And then he started his journey. And in his journey, he describes how the journey was not easy, how he had to go through deep forests and the caves and the valleys, all of that. So it wasn't very easy. Okay, but finally he comes to a pond and then takes some water. He gets refreshed and sits in meditation and he sees Paramatma. Here, Narada Muni saw Paramatma and he had ecstatic feelings within, and same was reflected in his body with tears in the eyes, etc. So Narada Muni's every cell was enlightened, and that was so ecstatic that Narada Muni wanted to feel that always, had darshan of Paramatma always. So after momentary darshan of Paramatma, after he felt ecstatic, he tries to do it again, practice whatever meditation he was doing exactly again to replicate the results he had. Then Paramatma says, I gave darshan to you on my own accord, not because you have done your yoga. That's one thing. If something is given to us in bhakti, it is just because of the mercy of Bhagavan, not because we are performing bhakti so wonderfully. Just that we are showing our efforts, showing that we are interested to please Krishna. The efforts will continue. But these efforts are only to attract mercy, not that our efforts are so perfect that we can assure Lord's mercy. So we cannot demand results in bhakti, but we can continue to put our efforts so the mercy can come. Yeah. And then Paramatma says, now you cannot see me now, but please continue singing my glories throughout your life, and when you quit the body, then you'll get the spiritual body. So the lesson for us there is, as we have just discussed, we will get some taste in bhakti. That is because with our efforts, we are trying to attract the mercy of the Lord. Yeah, and because Lord is merciful, we are getting the results, not because our efforts are the best. Okay, that's one point. Second thing is, so Paramatma spoke, he did not appear again. Paramatma spoke and then said, you sing my glories throughout your life, and at the end you will get the spiritual body. So there Narada Muni is teaching Gataspraha. Do we have that shloka here? He was traveling all around where he was not paying much attention to the people around. Yeah, he was very much involved in his bhajan. At the same time, he was Vimadho Vimatsaraha. There was no madam and no matsara. There was no pride and there was no envy. So in this way, Narada Muni spent rest of his life, okay, with all those devotional qualities. And he attained spiritual body after quitting this mortal body. So that's how he explains how he got this spiritual body and how he's speaking to Vyasadeva here. And then Narada Muni says, so this is why you should glorify bhakti again, because not only it is a relishable topic for all those pure devotees, but it can relieve the miseries of all the conditioned souls. That's why bhakti is very important, and you should please go ahead and glorify. And then Narada Muni leaves from there. Vyasadeva goes into meditation. Then he sees this. In the meditation, he sees Apashyat Purusham Purnam Mayam Chatadapashrayam Bhakti Yogena Samyak Pranahite Amale. Apashyat Purusham Purnam Mayam Chatadapashrayam. So Shri Vyasadeva saw that Purusham Purnam, Purna Purusha was there, and also Mayam Chatadapashrayam, Maya, external energy, was also under his control. He saw both the Purna Purusha and the external energy too. Okay, and he also saw Yaya Sammohita Jiva Atmanam Trigunatmakam. Jiva was also there, but Atmanam Trigunatmakam, but got bewildered by the modes. Parobhimanyate anardham tatkritam cha abhipadyate. Because paro upamanyate anardham, because it saw itself separate from Krishna, bewildered by modes, it got stuck in tat kritam cha abhipadyate, got stuck in karma cycle. The jiva was there but was bewildered by modes and thought was separate from Krishna and got stuck in karma cycle. Then what to do? Then anardhopasamam sakshat bhakti yogam adokshaje. So to come out of this karma cycle, to get upasamam, relief from this anardhas, the miseries, bhakti yogam adokshaje. One should do the bhakti yoga to the adokshaja. Lokasya na janatu vidvams chakre satvata samhitam. Not everybody knows this, and that's why Vedavyasa wrote this Bhagavatam. This is what Sutta Goswami was saying, what Vyasadeva saw in his meditation. So in this way, Bhagavan was seen, external energy was seen, and also Jiva was there, but Jiva got entangled in illusion and got stuck in karma cycle. But the same Jiva can get out of the anartha upasamam, get out of the miseries by practicing bhakti yogam to adokshaje. So that's the meditation that Vyasadeva saw. And after that, he taught the Srimad Bhagavatam to Sukadeva Goswami. Then Sukadeva Goswami wanted to mention this one. Two things has happened. Sukadeva Goswami, he heard the Bhagavatam. And his absorption was so good. Harir Gunakshiptamati. All the qualities, Sukadeva Goswami was absorbed in all the transcendental qualities of Bhagavan, and he became Priya to all Vaishnavas. He became an affectionate person. He was loved by all the Vaishnavas. Why is it like that? Because Harir Gunakshiptamati, because he was always absorbed in the transcendental qualities of Lord, and he was absorbed, in other words, he was absorbed in the transcendental qualities means he was appreciating the Lord so much. He was in Krishna Prema. And because he was having that love for the Lord, he cannot be hating anybody. So all that pours out from him are just the absorption of the qualities of the Lord. So in this way, he was the object of affection by everyone, all the Vaishnavas too. It's very similar to, yada taror mula nishevayena. When we pour the water to the roots, then the twigs and branches, they are automatically taken care of. In the same way, when somebody is absorbed in the wonderful qualities of Lord, and in those thoughts, whatever deeds are done to others are pretty much welfare activities for everybody. So automatically, they would like the Vaishnavas. So in this way, there can be many ways to develop relationships with the Vaishnavas around, with the people around. But the best way here is to be absorbed in the qualities of the Lord. So much so that, Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mayi pashyati. So much so that wherever they see everything in relevance to Krishna. And automatically, their affection to the Lord is transferred to the devotees around. In that way, they would be the object of affection. So that's something for us to take home. Okay. So far, I think in Narada Muni's Charita, we have already discussed, right? The Mamata and strictly following the instructions of the Bhakti Vedantas that we have heard. And the results that we get in Bhakti are just prasad of the Lord. It's not because of our wonderful efforts only. And how Narada Muni has practiced Bhakti throughout the life without Madam and without Matsara and Gataspraha, not really caring about others, not hindered by, his spiritual journey was not hindered by others' thoughts. Yeah. So those are from Narada Vyasa Samvada, and he recited Bhagavatam to Sukadeva Goswami. And the next question was, can you tell something about Parikshit Maharaj? So that's what he was going to explain. So Parikshit Maharaj, he was going to explain how Ashwadhama released the Brahmastra, and Parikshit Maharaj was in the womb of Uttara, and Uttara Devi went to Lord Krishna for protection, and how even before that, Arjuna's prayers, asking Lord Krishna of what is this, what do I do now? So quickly turning towards the Lord when there is danger. And then here in Uttara also, she did the same thing. She did not really go to anybody, straight came to Krishna and asked for protection. And Lord Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj in the womb. And after that, Suta Goswami, he was very much relishing how Lord Krishna, the quality of Bhakta Vatsala. So he went on how he has, how the other devotees, how Lord Krishna has given protection to other devotees also. So in that context, we have heard from Arjuna, and then we have heard from Uttara Devi, and then Queen Kunti. Wonderful, wonderful prayers of Queen Kunti. If we recall here, okay, here all these pure devotees, their theme is first, they are acknowledging the Tattva, Bhagavad Tattva. Please remember that. This actually comes in Sri Sikshashtakam also. This is very much relevant to us, even in Japa too. First is acknowledging the Bhagavad Tattva. Yeah, Bhagavad Tattva. When we are chanting, that would be Nama Tattva. Here, how did Srimati Kunti Devi acknowledge that? She Namaste Purusham Tvatyam Ishvara Prakriti Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antarbahir Avasthitam. So she has acknowledged the Tattva, Bhagavad Tattva, how Bhagavan is present inside and outside of us, like that. And after that, she recalled, she glorified him, how he came as Bhagavan to reciprocate with these devotees, how he came as Devaki Nandan. That's second thing. And second point, not only first is acknowledging the Bhagavad Tattva, second one is, though you are Bhagavan and you have come to reciprocate, you are actually reciprocating with me. You have saved me from so many dangers. That's the second thing. Bhagavan, yes, but Bhagavan is reciprocating with me. Holy name, yes, but holy name is reciprocating with me. That's very important. So that's how Queen Kunti enumerates all the problems she has gone through and says, Vipada Santata Shashva Tatra Tatro Jagat Guru Bhavatu Adarshanam Yashal Apunar Bhavadarshanam. Let these calamities come upon. When this outside, external disentanglement happens, then internally I will be absorbed in the thoughts of your lotus feet. So my internal anchoring to your lotus feet is more important to me. And that generally happens when there are external disturbances and calamities. For that reason, let them come. That's what Kunti Devi says. There we told, for us, we may not be so bold to invite the calamities, but something for us to remember is when the calamities come, then we want to think as what Narada Muni thought when his mother left her body, when Kunti Devi had all these calamities. We want to think that it is Krishna's arrangement. Yeah, and so after all her stutis, Srimati Kunti Devi says, Tvayi me ananya vishaya, matir madhupataya sakrat. Yeah, you have saved me from all these miseries. Yeah, let these calamities come upon, no problem. Also, please, Pandushu, Vrishnashu, the material bondage that I might have with the families, let that not come in my way. Let my bond with you grow more stronger than the bond with my families. Yeah, she offers all these prayers, and finally she says, let my mind just be, as the rivers flow to the ocean, let my mind be attracted to Matir Madhupate Asakrit, to your lotus feet. So like that, when Kunti Devi prays. And after that, Lord Krishna was about to start, but then Yudhishthira comes. He was bewildered. And then Lord Krishna takes him to Bhishma, right? He wanted to give credit to Bhishma as a person who has answered the questions of Yudhishthira. Because he knows that Bhishma is a pure devotee and he has been waiting for his darshan. So he comes to Bhishma, and there, Bhishma Pitama, he also offers his prayers. Oh, here, looking at the Pandavas, we have just heard from Kunti and now from Bhishma there. Aho kashtam aho anyayam. Oh, you are devotees. How come you have this kashtam and anyayam? And then says, oh, this is because of the kalam. And then says, oh, no. This is muhyanti. Yadvijijñasaya yukta muhyanti kavayo api. This is very bewildering, cannot be understood, but this is the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. So please take all that is happening to as prasad. So now that this Rajyam kingdom has come to you, accept this also as prasad, as you have accepted the difficulties. So please occupy the throne and then please rule the kingdom. Bhishma says that. After that, he goes into meditation, looks at Lord Krishna and says three things: my mind, my thinking, my feeling, and my willing. All these three, I am going to just absorb that into Lord Krishna, apply that to Lord Krishna. Thinking of Krishna, feeling grateful, willing to serve him. Thinking of him fondly, feeling grateful, and willing to serve him. Those are lessons for us from Bhishma Pitama. Yeah. So in that way, Bhishma Pitama, he also offers his prayers. He also actually acknowledges the tattva first. And after that, he says how Lord Krishna has reciprocated with him so beautifully in the war. How he was, as he was trying to rescue him, trying to protect Arjuna, he picks up the wheel, Radangapani, and then charges towards Bhishma. So that is what Bhishma wanted to see. And Bhishma was feeling very grateful for Lord Krishna's reciprocation. So after feeling grateful, and then he, as we just said, his meditation will be just in Lord Krishna, thinking, feeling, and willing, and then he leaves the body, quits the body. After that, all of them, they go from the battlefield back to the Hastinapura palace. And it's time for Lord Krishna to leave, and all the prayers of Hastinapura Vasis. We heard that how Pandavas were feeling very painful to leave Lord Krishna. And That is for those who have the taste, when the object of their love is going, that is something they can feel. And for us, what can we do? We haven't met Lord yet, but the Lord is in the holy name. So when we develop that bonding with the holy name, that is something that we could relish to. Yeah. And there Hastinapura Vasis, the queens there, Queen Kunti, Draupadi, all of them, they were having tears, but they stopped them from coming because they didn't want it to create inauspiciousness to Lord Krishna's travel. There we thought about, it's not so much about our emotions to other people, but what it might cost to them. That is more important. If it is not showing the emotion is good, then that's good. So not about our emotion, but what would it mean to them? That's important. That we have learned. And after Dwaraka, from Hastinapura, Dwaraka, Lord Krishna enters into Dwaraka, and how all the Dwarkavasis were receiving Lord Krishna. They were saying those beautiful verses that Mata, Pita, you are our mother, father, husband, Lord, please come back. So there we have thought about the Sharanagati prayers, how Dwarkavasis were relating to Lord Krishna in the mood of Sharanagati. Like that, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura's Sharanagati songs also, that is something that can take us closer to the Lord, that mood of Sharanagati. Also, Dwarkavasis, they were offering Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, whatever they have had. And those are not really needed by the Lord. He has everything. But their devotion counts, not what exactly they are offering. So there we thought about, if only we could remember that when we offer Bhoga to the Lord, that He does not really need this Patram Pushpam, but He is doing a favor to us by engaging us in the Seva. So we can be out of karma cycle and be engaged in the bhakti. So He is doing a favor to us. We are not doing a favor to Him by offering Patram Pushpam. Yeah. So that we have discussed. And so this is Sambhoga Rasa in Dwaraka. And in Hastinapura, when the Lord was leaving, that was Vipralamba Rasa. These are the greatest, highest spiritual emotions. They were all discussed also here. And after that, now what are the events? These are all the stutis are completed now. Now about coming to Parikshit Maharaj, the birth of Parikshit Maharaj. How Yudhishthira Maharaj was feeling happy. Though he had all the opulences in the world, his satisfaction was more in the thoughts of Krishna and the service of Krishna. And after that, at the description of all these priests coming and then doing the Jyotisha, foretelling the qualities of Parikshit Maharaj, that was described. And that way, Parikshit Maharaj is born. And what were the events led to the coronation of Parikshit Maharaj? There we have discussed about Vidura, Yudhishthira, Narada Muni. Let's go over that. Vidura was insulted, but he was only first was his thought. Again, this is Lord Krishna's arrangement. I will take this as Krishna's arrangement. Second thing is, though he was hurt in the heart, pained in the heart, he was not really agitated when he was ill-treated by Duryodhana, right? And he was not agitated. And the third thing was, he did not react, but acted to the situation. Acted in the sense he figured out that that was not right time to do anything more. So he left the palace and he went on pilgrimage. And he comes later to talk to Dhritarashtra. So that's where we are now. So in this way, Vidura did these three things. Whenever dangers and insults come upon us, first thing, this is Krishna's arrangement. Second thing, yes, there may be pain in the heart, but there is no need of agitation. Yeah. Third thing is we want to act to the situation, not react. Yeah. Acting is done in a controlled fashion. Reacting is in an uncontrolled way. Okay. Vidura came back, and what is Yudhishthira Maharaj saying? Bhavatvidas Bhagavatas Tirthabhuta Swayam Vibho Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani Swantastena Gatavrataha. You Mahatmas carry Govinda in your heart. You make the place Tirthas. So there our lesson was, since the pure devotees carry Govinda in their heart, if their instruction is followed, then that itself will be a tirtha for us. That's what Sri Narottama Das Thakura says. So that was our life lesson for us. That is the importance, significance of pure devotees and the instruction that comes from them, because Govinda is there in their heart. Tirtha Bhuta Swayam. Swa Antastena Gathaprita. That's one thing. And after that, Vidura talks to Dhritarashtra. He said, why are you still here? Are you not ashamed of yourself? Those who you tried to kill, you are just living now because of on their mercy. It's time for you to leave. So there, our lesson was Kalam Paramadushtara. The time just creeps in. The time time ticks off. We don't have too much of time. So we want to be vigilant that we start the process of bhakti. And if we have started it, we want to vigilantly go on with the process of bhakti. Yeah. And after that, when Dhritarashtra, Gandhari leaves and Vidura also leaves, and when all of them left the body, Yudhishthira was searching for them in the palace, for uncle and aunt. And he gets very anxious. Then Narad Muni has to come. Narad Muni says, why are you so anxious, Yudhishthira? You think you are the maintainer? You think you are the controller? No. So there our lesson was, we are not the controllers. Things don't necessarily have to go exactly the way we think. They don't have to go. Our things don't have to go exactly the way we think, for us or for others, because we are not the controllers. We are only instruments. And we don't have to think that we are maintaining people if we are caregivers. We are only mediums, but not the maintainers. Krishna is the controller and he is the maintainer. So we do our best, but we don't have to carry unnecessary anxiety and be heavy-hearted. That's the lesson we have learned. And after that, he indicates Narada Muni, okay, now you mind your business. You don't feel like you are a maintainer or controller. When Lord Krishna leaves the body, it will be time for all of you to depart. He says that and he leaves. And immediately after that, Arjuna comes from Dwaraka, very morose. And Yudhishthira asks, why are you like that? After all the questions he asks directly Arjuna, is it because Krishna left the world? Is that so? Then Arjuna says, oh, yes. Yes, that's the reason. Here, two things for us that we have learned from Arjuna's words. Arjuna said, Vanchito aham maharaja harena bandhurupina yena me apahritam tejo deva vismapanam mahat. Arjuna is saying, Yena me apahritam tejo. When Lord Krishna was there, I was very powerful. I did so many things. He enumerates all his victories and says it is all because of the mercy of the Lord. And now, yenama apahrito tejam. I don't have that power now. It's all taken away. So here, Arjuna has done two things. All the capabilities that he has had and accomplishments that were done, he has attributed it to Lord Krishna's mercy, Lord's mercy. He didn't claim that success. That's one thing. Second thing is, these services, yena me apahritam tejo. Now Arjuna has no more power. So when the Lord wants somebody to do certain services, he empowers them until the services are done. And after that, the Lord takes away the capabilities. It happened to Arjuna. So when we see devotees around doing the services, we don't have to have superiority complex. We don't have to have inferiority complex. We don't have to have the superiority that we are doing it, because it's actually Sri Guru and Lord's mercy. It's the empowerment that comes through their instruction that makes us do the things outside. Yeah, services or accomplishments. So that way we don't feel superiority. At the same time, we don't have to feel inferiority. If somebody is good at something, maybe you are good at something else. So whatever has Krishna given to us, we just offer the same thing to him. So in that way, we don't have to feel inferior. And after all these accomplishments and services and tasks that are visible outside, they are not needed to go back home, back to Godhead. All we need is the bonding of the Lord, our bonding with the Lord. How much affection, how much loving bonding that we have to the Harinam, to the Lordship. That's what takes us back home. So our identity is our Sri Guru and Krishna, and our affection for them, Krishna Prema, that takes us back home, back to Godhead, not the services around that we do. The services are only to engage us and purify us while we are in this body. Those are the lessons. And the next lesson was when Arjuna was really morose that Lord Krishna was not there anymore. Then he really perks up again, regains his energy by remembering the instruction of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. That's where we thought, we learned that Sri Guru is always with us in the form of instruction. They're not physically present all the time. But if we are remembering the instruction, following the instruction, that is equivalent to their presence. And their instruction is eternal and makes their presence in the instruction. So that's the power of the Sri Guru's instruction. That's what we have learned from Arjuna. And after that, yes, all of them retire, starting with Yudhishthira. And there we have learned that we will be having the Sangha of the Bhaktas, Sadhu Sangha. But all that is to teach us how to depend on Sri Guru and Krishna within, because ultimately we have to fly our own flight. That's the lesson we have learned. Yeah, in this way, all these events led to Parikshit Maharaj coronation, and he was enthroned. And in the description of Parikshit Maharaj rule, on the way of searching for Kali, and he heard that Kali was in the kingdom, Parikshit Maharaj, he heard about how Lord Krishna reciprocated with the Pandavas. And Bhaktim Karoti, Nripatis Charanaravindam. Parikshit Maharaj was feeling very grateful, hearing how Lord Krishna has reciprocated with Pandavas in so many ways. Saratya Parshad, Sevana Sakya Dautya, Virasanugamana, Stavana Pranamam. So there we discussed about how Paramatma has been with us, is with us, and will be with us. And in how many ways he is reciprocating. He created the whole creation for us, gave this body to us, sitting with us inside, right beside us, Paramatma, and He's Suhridam Sarvabhutana. How much are we reciprocating with Him? How much are we thinking about Him? That's the point we have learned from there. And after that, he saw Dharani and Dharma, the cow and the bull, the conversation, and how Mother Earth was feeling separation from Lord Krishna. And Lord Parikshit Maharaj did not kill Kali, but he had to give a little place as least as possible in his kingdom, because Kali asked shelter to Parikshit Maharaj, and he's a Kshatriya, and he had to give shelter but not kill when they seek shelter. Also, Kali has that good auspicious quality that whatever is good thought is done in Kali Yuga will have good effect immediately. But bad thought does not need, doesn't necessarily give bad effect unless it is done. So because of those reasons, Parikshit Maharaj did not kill Kali. And then he was ruling, and then came the next event of Brahmana's curse to Parikshit Maharaj. There we talked about how Parikshit Maharaj put the snake around the Brahmana and could not really tolerate the thirst. Unusual, Parikshit Maharaj who could tolerate the heat of the Brahmastra when he was in the womb. And later in the Bhagavatam we see he did not even drink water, move a bit for 7 days a week. He could not tolerate thirst. And that family is known to worship Brahmanas. And he put the dead snake on the Brahmana. Why this unusual events? Then we thought, this is because of the arrangement of Krishna. And after that, we talked about how Shringi, the Brahmana boy, cursed Parikshit Maharaj, but Samyak Rishi was really pious, stable, and undisturbed. And there we talked about how Samyak Rishi represents such a mature devotee. It's not about his insult. It is about how well others are doing. That's what Samyak Rishi thought. He didn't care much about the dead snake that he has. He did not think he was disrespected. But his thought was how well Parikshit Maharaj is, and without this monarch protecting the country, then the kingdom would not be safe. So a Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari, is not so much concerned about how great they are and what insults they have, but their thoughts are about, how well others are serving. That's Samyak Rishi. And Parikshit Maharaj also we have heard. When he comes back to the palace, he thinks, I have done such an aparada. Let the calamity come upon me. Same thing as Kunti Devi. He thinks like that, and he gets the news from Samyak Rishi that he's going to leave the body in 7 days and 7 weeks. And he receives the news. He receives the news and he was happy, because whatever aparada he has created, that will not pass on to his families anymore, because he's stopping it himself by taking this curse upon him. And at the same time, he has seen this as the arrangement of Krishna to disentangle him from the kingdom, from the family, from all these material entanglements. So that's why he welcomes this news, gets prepared, and then enthrones Janamejaya, his son, and goes to the bank of Ganges and then sits there. So here, these are the mature devotees, Uttamadhikaris, the way Parikshit Maharaj behaved and the way Samyak Rishi behaved. The way Shringi behaved was like a Kanishta Bhakta, where he thought too big about him, and where he really put down Parikshit Maharaj. He was calling him as watchdog, and he abused the power he had as a Brahmana boy. Those are all because of the immaturity. So, and then we thought we shouldn't be like a neophyte, but we should be like a mature devotee, not like Shringi, but like Samyak Rishi and Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj came, sat there at the Ganges. He was asking one question to all these sages. He was asking, what is the duty of a person when he's living? And what is specifically duty of a person when he's leaving the body or dying? That was the question to all the sages that came from different planets. And they were looking around for the answer. That's when Sukadeva Goswami comes there. Everybody pays their obeisances. And Parikshit Maharaj asked the same question to Sukadeva Goswami and says, if at all I have to be born, Bhagavati Anante Ratih Pratsangasta Tadashrayeshu Mahatsu Yamyam Upayami Srishtim Maitriyastu Sarvashtu Namo Dvijebhya. If at all I have to be born, no problem. But my attraction for Bhagavati Anante, Rati, attraction to the Bhagavati Anante, and then association with the devotees, and friendship with Maitri, friendship with all the living entities. If I have these three qualities, then I don't mind taking birth again. So that's something for us also, a lesson there. These three qualities are very important. Rati, attraction to the Lord, association with the pure devotees, and Maitri. Maitri is friendship to all living entities. That is the essence of bhakti. So this is how Parikshit Maharaj asked this question to Sukadeva Goswami, and Sukadeva Goswami answers that, beginning second canto. Thank you all. That was, thank you. That's the summary and the life lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam, from all the devotees from Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm going to pause here. Yeah, and I will hear from you all. So let's do this. We have discussed the whole first canto summary. First, we have discussed about the first three slokas in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavan, Bhakti, and Bhakta. And then 6 questions of Naimisharanya sages, the answers to them. The answer to the last one was Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma text shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's why about the Bhagavatam comes in the 4th, 5th, and 6th chapter, Narada Vyasa Samvada. And after that, all the stutis of the devotees, and about Parikshit Maharaj. These are the 4 topics that completes the first canto of Bhagavatam. About Bhagavan, about Bhakti, about Bhakti up until 4th, 5th chapter, until Narada Muni's life, about Bhakti, and then about all the Bhaktas, all the description comes from there. Narada Muni and Arjuna and Uttara Devi and Kunti Devi, Bhishma, Bharata, Hastinapura Vasa, Yudhishthira, and the Pandavas and Parikshit Maharaj, all these devotees. Yeah, that's what we have discussed today. The whole summary of the first canto with life lessons. I'm going to pause here.